not support the resources sector, and those out there don't believe a word they say.
I call the member for Dunkley.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Let's perhaps just take a step back from the machismo of just calling each other names, really, for a moment, and perhaps talk about what we need in Australia, which is an energy policy. I'm sorry, am I interrupting your conversation with yourself? What we need in this country is an energy—
The member will direct your comments through the chair.
Yes. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I was just wondering whether I was interrupting the member's conversation with himself there. Now, what we need in this country is an energy policy that fosters renewable energy and promotes it, that reduces emissions and that reduces energy and electricity prices. What we need in this country is an energy policy that lasts. Let's just go for a term of government, shall we? Let's start with a term of government. The truth of the matter, the facts of the matter, is that over the last 8 years there have been 22 energy policies. 22. And why is that so bad? Apart from the instability that it gives to the market that this government professes to love so much, the instability that it gives to investors, the instability that it gives to the Australian public, 22 energy policies in 8 years have given this country higher electricity prices. Retail electricity prices, as the member for Shortland has said, increased by 16.4% under this government, which has to stop trying to pretend it only just got elected. 22 energy policies in 8 years has led to increases in wholesale electricity prices of up to 50%. And these are numbers, but I tell you who aren't numbers: the pensioners in my electorate of Dunkley who contact me all of the time wondering how they're going to keep the heat on in winter because they can't afford to pay for their electricity. I tell you who aren't numbers. It's the aged pensioners in Dunkley who swelter through summer because they can't afford to put on an air conditioner. Or if they do, they can't afford to buy food. They're real people, they're not just numbers. And what does 22 years of 22 energy policies, it felt like 22 years, 22 energy policies in 8 years deliver for this country? Higher emissions, higher greenhouse emissions. You know, the actual annual emissions in this country remain nearly 4% above the low point of March 2014, the actual annual energy emissions. You know, for the 6 years the Labor Party was in government, greenhouse emissions were cut by 93 million tonnes, and in 8 years, as a member for Shortland said, this government has reduced them by 9 million tonnes. You know, that's what you get with 22 energy policies in 8 years. And here's a tip to the minister and the government. Those emissions and electricity are supposed to be going down, and renewable energy investment and delivery is supposed to be going up, and it's not, because this government isn't supporting it and it's not delivering it. And it's bad for the economy, it's bad for the environment, and it's bad for people. You must care about one of those three things: the environment, the economy, or people. We care about all three of them. That's why we have to have a modern energy policy. That's why we need to have an electricity grid that is fit for purpose now and for the energy delivery of the future. You don't hear this government talking about implementing the AEMO's report about rewiring our electricity grid for the jobs, to support renewables, for the good of the future. That's what we want in my electorate of Dunkley. We don't want this machismo of yelling and defending yourselves.
I call the member for Higgins.